Welcome to the May 2nd, 2024 Planning Commission hearing. I will call the hearing to order at 1:01 p.m. Ms. Johnson, can we have a roll call vote?
Thank you, Chair Bauke. I'll take roll call. Chair Bauke.
Here.
Vice Chair Wardlow.
Here.
Commissioner Barnwell.
Here.
Commissioner Voss.
Present.
Commissioner DeLucia.
Here.
Commissioner Lodge.
Here.
Commissioner Wiscombe.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay, well, next part is preliminary matters. Do we have any requests for continuances, withdrawals, postponements, or additions of ex-agenda items? Ms. Arcanega?
Chair Bauke, we do not.
Okay. Announcements and appeals.
Thank you, Chair Bauke. We do have a few. So the city has approved, or City Council has approved a contract with BAE. They are a contractor who will begin working on studying the city's inclusionary requirements and fees, including looking at linkage fees, such as that for housing demand linkage for hotel developments. They're expected that study will take about 6 to 9 months, so in this next year we can see the results of that. So if you want to follow that, you may. Another announcement is for Single Family Design Board final approval appeal of 1269 Farello Road will be coming to your Planning Commission on June 6th. And lastly, we have the 101 Garden Project that was approved by your commission and appealed to City Council. That appeal hearing will happen on June 25th. And Chair Bauke, we need to identify a representative from the Planning Commission to attend that appeal hearing.
Do we do that now or
Yes.
sometime in the future?
I'll be happy to attend, and Commissioner DeLucia, we were the ones that made the motion in the second, will accompany me and be back up there if there's any questions that I can't answer.
Is that the concurrence?
If that's okay.
Do we
That
have
works.
concurrence of my fellow commissioners of that? Looks like that's the case, so we'll have those two attend.
What date is that again?
June 25th.
Correct.
Thank you.
And Ms. Arciniega, could you please repeat the Single Family Design Board appeal, what the address is on that, please?
Sure. 1269 Farello Road.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have next on our agenda, the review, consideration, and actions, the draft Planning Commission minutes and resolutions. We have two, the April 4th Planning Commission minutes and Planning Commission Resolution 7-24 for 621 Chapala Street. Do my commissioners have any corrections to the minutes or the resolution that they want to offer? I see no movement. Does somebody want to make a motion on both?
I'll make a motion on both.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second. May I have a roll call vote?
Thank you, Chair Bauke. I'll take roll call vote. Commissioner Boss?
Yes.
Commissioner DeLucia?
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge?
Yes.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wiscombe?
Yes.
Vice Chair Wardlow?
Yes.
Chair Bauke?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, next on our agenda is public comments pertaining to items not on this agenda. Do we have any speakers with slips coming forward in the audience?
Thank you, Chair Bauke. At this time, I don't have any speaker slips, and if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on general business, and that's again items not on today's agenda, you can fill out a speaker slip at the back of the room. I'm not seeing any movement, so I'll go ahead and move to virtual public comment. At this time, we don't have any virtual participants, but we did receive written correspondence from Steve Johnson, which was distributed to the commission prior to the meeting. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Bauke.
Okay, with that, we can close general public comment and move on to the next part of our agenda, which is new items. We have a new item, which is 137 East De La Guerra Street. It's a project requesting a conditional use permit to allow for off-site sale of alcoholic beverages with a type 20 license and confirmation of the environmental analyst's determination that it's exempt from CEQA. Before I get started, does anybody have, or fellow commissioners have any ex parte communications they need to disclose? I see none. So with that, we'll move to the staff presentation. We have Associate Planner Pilar Plummer to make the presentation. Ms. Plummer, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Bauke. Again, I'm Pilar Plummer, Associate Planner with the City of Santa Barbara Planning and Zoning Division, and I'll be giving the staff presentation for this project. So the project is for a new ABC license type 20 to allow an existing store, the Eddy, to sell wine and beer for off-site consumption purposes. There are no changes proposed to the exterior of the building or site. The Eddy went through an interior remodel prior to opening last year in June, I believe, of 2023. So again, no exterior work is proposed. You'll see an image of the project site location. It's a small corner business located at the intersection of Santa Barbara Street and De La Guerra Street. The required application that's before the Planning Commission is a conditional use permit, again, to allow for off-site sale of alcoholic beverages with a type 20 license. And just as a reminder to the Commission, the California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control is responsible for regulating all retail alcohol sales within the state. They do offer different licenses, off-sale consumption licenses for businesses that sell alcohol for consumption off the premises, such as liquor stores, grocery stores. On-site consumption licenses are issued for businesses that sell alcohol for consumption on the premises, such as bars or restaurants. While the ABC maintains authority over licensing, cities can regulate secondary aspects of alcoholic beverage sales through its land use powers, such as conditional use permits. The purpose of using something like a conditional use permit is to address related nuisance impacts to the surrounding areas for the sale and consumption of alcohol. And just a reminder, in 2017, City Council directed staff to develop regulations for off-sale alcohol establishments. In September of 2021, there was the introduction of off-sale alcohol regulation ordinances. These were subsequently adopted by the City Council in October of 2021. And effectively, this amended Title 30, which is the inland ordinance, and Title 28, which is the coastal ordinance, and therefore requires a conditional use permit for the sale of alcohol for off-site consumption for new establishments or establishments that have a substantial modification. And again, this only applies to Type 20 licenses and Type 21. Type 20 is for wine and beer, and Type 21 is for wine, beer, and distilled spirits. And again, because this is a new operation for an existing retail store, it's requiring a conditional use permit. So this is a vicinity map of the project location. You'll see it highlighted in yellow here. On the corner of Santa Barbara and De La Guerra Street. Across the way is the Santa Barbara Historical Museum. There's some residential apartments, and a Kappa school is also across Santa Barbara Street. This is again view of the general neighborhood. These are the apartments that are across the way, and also Santa Barbara Historical Museum. So the findings for a conditional use permit speak to the desirability of the use to the public's general welfare and its compatibility with the general plan. Additionally, a conditional use permit may only be granted for alcoholic beverage retail establishments located, developed, and operate in compliance with performance and development standards that are outlined in our ordinance, unless a variation is approved by the Planning Commission and subject to the findings that the use will not have a significant adverse effect on crime rate or other nuisance activities. This includes items related to public drunkenness, illegal sale or use of narcotics, drugs or alcohol, etc. So one of the performance and development standards is in regards to location and distance, and this specifically applies to new businesses and non-transferred licenses. So again, it would apply to this because it qualifies as a new license. So the criteria for that is that it cannot be located it has to be located in an area with a capacity for additional off-sale licenses as defined by ABC, with low to average crime rates. And it needs to be a minimum of 500 feet away from any residentially zoned lot or a lot containing a public or private elementary school or high school, healthcare facilities, social services facilities, substance abuse treatment centers, religious facility, parks or playgrounds. And again, the Planning Commission does have the discretion to grant a variation to prevent unreasonable hardship or for any other reason consistent with the alcoholic beverage retail establishments criteria in the zoning ordinance. The EDI is requesting a variation to the 500-foot requirement as they're within proximity to a school. And while not residentially zoned lots, residential uses are in the area. So this is a radius map. First, there's Anacapa School across the street. This, to the left, was included as an attachment as part of the applicant's letter and is included as an attachment to the staff report as well. So the EDI is located here in a small dot. The red dot here represents Anacapa School, which is approximately 150 feet away from the project site. You also see La Cuesta High School down the way just at the edge of the 500-foot radius. But overall, the area represents a mix of uses, both commercial, institutional, and residential. So staff is supportive of the requested variation in this particular case. This is based on feedback from the police department in part, that the site does have a low to average crime rate, so there is an anticipated concern with a license for alcohol sales at this particular location. Additionally, the applicant has communicated with Anacapa School specifically, and its board members didn't express any objection to the intent to sell wine and beer. They did provide a letter of support, which was included as an attachment to your packet. Also, in their applicant letter, the applicant notes that there are other businesses in the area which sell alcohol and that the EDI differs from something like a liquor store based on their hours of operation, that alcohol will represent only a small component of their store. Patrons to the store are typically young professionals, not young students, and the intent is to sell organic and natural wines from the Central Coast, along with craft beers. In terms of other performance and development standards, the project is compliant with those. So there's criteria related to container sizing and product display. For example, No miniature single-serving airline bottles can be proposed, and they're not as part of this project. Wine has to be in a certain container size. That's the traditional wine container size, 750 milliliters or greater. Beer cannot be, must be in greater than 32-ounce containers. Less than 32 ounces shall not be sold for units less than 1 3-pack. And the display of any alcohol cannot be within 5 feet of any entrance or exit to the business, and it cannot be at a checkout counter. So this is an interior view of the existing store. If you're just coming off the entrance, you'll see it's very well lit. There's an example of the windows, which are free and clear of any sort of obstructions. They're not proposing any advertisement on the exterior of the building for alcohol sales. Wine and beer is proposed to be sold towards the back of the store. So the entrance, again, is off the screen to the right. To the left, and I'll have a better image in a few slides, is the checkout counter. So again, you'll see this also represented on the floor plan, but they're showing a refrigerator for wine and beer at the very corner back, and then some wine shelving here. Okay, so the police department reviewed calls for service for the 100 block of East De La Guerra Street over a 4-year period. This is part of an assessment to determine if there is a significant crime rate in the area or any concerns related to alcohol for that area. There were 5 calls for service to this particular address during that time. All 5 resulted in no police action, and there was no specific concerns related to alcohol specifically. A local letter of public convenience or necessity was also issued by the police department on March 30th of 2023, noting that this particular liquor license will satisfy the public convenience and necessity. In terms of upkeep and operating characteristics, the Eddy is a retail establishment that sells a variety of goods, food items, household essentials, books, unique gift items, baked goods and sandwiches from local bakeries, as well as grab-and-go foods. The project complies with all performance and development standards relating to lighting, noise, litter. Again, no window obstructions from the exterior, and there's no exterior signage proposed regarding alcohol. The business is also in good standing with the city of Santa Barbara, and it's compatible with the mix of uses in the area. So again, to the right, the checkout counter is a little bit more to the left, but this just shows you, again, some of the goods that are being sold within the existing store. All right, to the right is a general plan land use map of the project area. You'll see, again, it's outlined in yellow here, which is in the Parks and Open Space designation of the general plan, and primarily surrounded by commercial as well. So it's zoned CG, Commercial General, and is part of the state-owned El Presidio del Santa Barbara Historic Park, and it's also in the downtown neighborhood of the general plan. There's a few policies which are applicable to this particular project. LG4, Principles for Development, encourages a mix of land uses in commercial areas. Again, this is in the downtown, so we expect a variety of different types of uses. And this is an existing business that is operated in good standing. Previously it was the bead shop. So there's a whole mix of commercial uses in the immediate area, as well as, again, schools, institutional uses, and residential. LG 15 notes that neighborhoods should be encouraged to preserve and enhance the sense of place. Neighborhoods serving commercial uses are encouraged, and the project is consistent with this policy because in addition to the sale of household goods and gifts, the store sells grab-and-go food options, which are a benefit to patrons in the area, business workers, and just anyone that wants to buy particular goods in the downtown neighborhood of the city. In terms of the economy and fiscal element, the project manages commercial growth. As the Eddy is an existing retail establishment, there are no additions, so no new non-residential floor areas proposed. It's an existing business, so giving priority to existing businesses and encouraging residents to to come to local businesses and buy local is a policy within the general plan. And EF 14, local needs, encourage enterprises that serve the needs of local residents, workers, and businesses. And this does that for patrons that want to purchase specialty food items, including wine and beer, as well as household essentials from a small-scale corner store, which provides a different alternative to larger stores in the area, particularly grocery stores as well, that are chain operated. The project qualifies for California Environmental Quality Act exemption 15301, existing facilities. So operation, permitting, licensing, or minor alterations of existing private structures involving negligible or no expansion of former use. To the right, you'll see, again, a view inside the store. And staff is recommending that the Planning Commission move to approve the conditional use permit, subject to the findings and conditions of approval outlined in the staff report, and also confirm the environmental analyst determination of exemption. So again, the conditional use permit findings that are outlined, it's for the conditional use permit, the findings related to alcoholic beverage retail establishments, and there's the other findings for the variation that's being requested. And that concludes my presentation. The business owners are here, so if you have any questions for them. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So next, we'll take the applicant. Do you have a presentation to make?
I do not have a presentation, but I have something that I will read,
Okay.
because I'm not a public speaker. So I will be,
Please provide your name and your relationship with the project, and anybody else that's part of your team that you have speak, have them do the same. So you can go, and you have 15 minutes. I don't think you want to use the whole time, but,
I will not.
okay.
My name is Alex Sudalnik. I'm co-owner of the Eddy alongside my business partner, Jen Steinwurzel. I grew up in Santa Barbara. My parents were small business owners with retail shops in the downtown area, and I spent much time in them growing up. My mom's here today as well, and the rest of my family. So the connections, community, and contribution to the local economy were all things I wanted to replicate. I'm a new mom I'm now a mom, not a new mom, 5 years, to a girl named Eddy, who's also the namesake of the shop. She loves visiting the shop for seaweed snacks and Pocky sticks and helping mom at the cash register. I live a short commute to the Presidio on the east side and have worked in the neighborhood for over 3 years with my now business partner, Jen Steinwurzel. Jen has owned Jake & Jones for 7 years, and we recently expanded into a second location next door to the Eddy. Jen and I are very aligned in our values, creativity, and problem solving. When the topic of convenience kept coming up for necessities like water, Advil, toilet paper, and easy, nutritious grab and go, we jumped at the opportunity to provide a solution that was community-driven here in our neighborhood. The Eddy is a family-friendly, community-led corner store that opened in July of 2023. We carry specialty foods, snacks, grab and go, essentials, pantry items, produce, perishables, frozen goods, and more. We take suggestions and feedback from our customers, host workshops, events, and pop-ups. We have relationships with certified organic local farms like Farm Cart Organics, Lily's, Milliken, and Tutti Frutti. Partnerships with local bakeries like Merci Oat Bakery, Dew, and Riviera Bread, and friendships with our regulars like Lisa, Patty, Emma, and Curtis, who come in weekly for fresh bread, butter, eggs, and jam. Our staff of 3 has been with us since the beginning. Leah, our buyer and manager, is here today. They're knowledgeable, trustworthy, and responsible, and they're as much a part of this as we are. In order for us to thrive, we must truly be a one-stop shop and meet the needs and requests of our customers. Since opening, we get asked almost daily if we have wine or what the status of our application is. Before we opened, we sent out a survey and got 453 responses, and the vast majority of whom ranked wine and beer as highly desirable. This is a warranted and natural addition to our store. It is also a natural addition to the neighborhood when done so responsibly. We are surrounded by tasting rooms, coffee shops, the cheese shop, restaurants, and bars, all serving or selling alcohol. At the Eddy, we intend to predominantly sell wine from the Central Coast, with the exception of a small selection of imported wines and a tight curation of beer. We are limited in space, so every corner and every product is highly curated and considered. We have no intention of becoming a bottle shop and only wish to highlight the wine producers and brewers we can stand behind and offer our customers a sense of discovery and education along the way. We are aware of and accept the terms of container and pack sizes as well as positioning. Through a Type 20 off-sale wine and beer license and with proper training and certification, we're confident that we can maintain a safe, family-friendly environment. We believe this step is vital to our success. I would like to bring to light the difficulty navigating this process over the last year and a half as a new city requirement, while also acknowledging the people who helped us get this far. We're very grateful for the support of SBPD, Anacapa School, to John, Brian, and Donald for coming out for a site visit, to city staff, and in particular, our planner, Pilar, who has been so helpful during review, to all those who wrote in to offer support, and to our community at large. We're very much looking forward to this opportunity to work with the city and to continue to see small businesses in our community thrive. We'd be so grateful for your support today. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. So moving to public comment, do we have any in-person public commenters? Okay, we'll have one slip. Please just state your name for the record and you can begin.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bronstad. I'm a local professional that works downtown, and I just wanted to remind you all that today your vote is not really just about a liquor license. It's supporting a women-owned business, supporting young families with young kids. And Leah, who's a newlywed, just bought her house in the downtown neighborhood, which is very exciting. So you're supporting all of them. And also just the vitality of the downtown area. Of course, businesses are, the turnover is just crazy on State Street. Every time I walk down, it's new. So I think it's really great if you could support the downtown area and just the convenience of the store it being in a neighborhood. There's a bunch of residential units that are right across the street. People like me who want to stop by and pick up something on the way home from work. I live out in Goleta. So it serves that need. It's also just so charming. For those that went there, you could see, or just from the pictures. So yeah, I just want to remind you it's more than just liquor license. Thank you.
And thank you. Do we have any other speaker slips?
Thank you, Chair Balke. I don't have any further speaker slips at this time, and I'm not seeing any movement. We also do not have any virtual participants, but we did receive 19 written correspondence, which were distributed to the commission prior to the meeting. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Balke.
Okay, so we can now close the public comment period on this item, and we'll move to questions by my fellow commissioners who would like to go first. So we have Commissioner Boss.
Thank you, Chair. I have two questions for staff. First, on page 56 of 79 of the packet, there was a reference to a request for the CUP fee reduction, and I understand the regular fee is about $14,000, and this would qualify for a minor CUP fee. Is that correct?
Yes, there is a minor CUP option. Unfortunately, even the minor CUP fee is quite high, but yes, there is that option.
And I understand that this body can reduce that for unreasonable hardship, so is that something that we could consider during? Or?
Chair Balke and Commissioner Boss, I'm not familiar with reducing it. Is this fee schedule say reduced based on financial hardship?
It says unreasonable hardship, and it gives the definition.
Okay, give me a sec to look at
Sure,
that.
and it's page 56 if that helps.
Thank you.
So that was one question. And then the other question I had, under type 20, I don't have it memorized, but I was curious if that allows for like a tasting, if there's a special event. They referenced workshops, that kind of thing.
Through the chair, Commissioner Ball, it's the purpose of that particular license is to purchase alcohol at the business and take it off-site. So no, it's not designed for tasting on-site or anything like that, no.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions.
Okay.
Chair Balke and
Yes, please.
to Commissioner Boss, we cannot waive the fees. That's not, or reduce the fees. They're set by a fee schedule by council through resolution.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner DeLucio.
I have two questions. One follow-up on that. Wasn't their fee reduced already from, for the minor conditional use permit? Aren't they paying that fee versus a higher fee for a conditional use permit?
Through the chair, Commissioner DeLucio, so I think, in terms of this particular application, we have the conditional use permit fee. If they weren't charged the minor CUP fee, that could be something I think we can look at, but it can't be reduced further than what's in our fee resolution. That's
Oh,
what
because
I
I
would
was under the
say.
impression that this was already reduced to a minor conditional use permit.
I would need to
fee.
relook at the fee.
That was my understanding. Also, if they wanted to do a special event, I'll call it, to have like a wine tasting on site or something, can they request a special permit to do that? Event permit?
So through the chair, Commissioner DeLucio, so after this conditional use permit, they still need to go to ABC to actually get the license, and they're the ones who hold the authority over what conditions are within that license. As far as I understand, this particular license is specifically so you purchase alcohol and then take it home. It's not necessarily for events and tastings and things like that. If ABC wants to look at particular conditions with this license, I'm sure they can ask for that and see if ABC is amenable.
If they were amenable, would they still have to get a special event permit through the city if the ABC identifies that they can occasionally do a on-site tasting, for example?
Chair Bauke, Commissioner DeLucia, that's regulated by the Alcohol
Okay.
Beverage Commission, and it's not within the discretion of the
Okay.
city.
One other question is, as part of this conditional use permit, how do the hours of operation fold into this?
So through the chair, Commissioner DeLucia, they're planning to make no changes to their existing hours of operation. Those were included in the staff report and applicant letter. If they do want to make changes, for example, they want to expand the amount of alcohol being sold on the premises or change their hours of operation, we do have built into the process that they could have to come back for an amendment to the conditional use permit through your commission, or have those changes done as well by ABC to their license so that they remain consistent with their license.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ms. Arganega, did you have something to add?
Yes, Commissioner, Chair Bauke. Commissioner Boss, can you clarify again, page 36 of the staff report?
Sorry, 56 of
50
the entire packet, yes.
Of the
staff report.
packet. Thank
It was 56 of 79.
Okay. While you're doing that, Commissioner Barnwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Maybe I direct this to our legal consultant, but this is something I've been curious about. If they were to, say, join First Thursday, and they wanted to hang art, get part of that community thing, can they serve wine as a component of that event? Because I notice many of the art museums, which I don't think have any ABC rules, they do indeed serve free wine. How does that work?
Free wine is not the sale of wine,
Okay,
so that's the
Okay.
distinction. And we don't, the city doesn't regulate on.
okay, thank you very, very much.
Okay. Any other commissioners have any questions? Okay. We have one more. Commissioner Wiscombe.
Just a follow-up question. Does ABC actually get a copy of the floor plan and they have it on file? Is that right?
So through the chair, Commissioner, yes. Once the Planning Commission takes their decision, if it's approved, then we send a copy of the staff report, conditions of approval. They do receive the plans, yes.
Okay, and then just to follow up to Commissioner DeLucio's question about hours of operation, the applicants made it very clear that they're only open until 7 p.m., and I think they made that clear even to Anacapa School and when they were, is this, I'm ambivalent, but is this something that we should perhaps add to the conditions of approval, or are we all right not?
So through the chair, Commissioner Wiscombe, if you would like those to be outlined under the general conditions, that's your purview. It is outlined in the staff report and the applicant letter again, which we would be giving to ABC.
So ABC does get the
Yes.
applicant letter?
Yes.
Yeah,
you
okay,
receive
then I
the full
think
packet.
that's sufficient. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we'll move to deliberations. Who would like to go first? Commissioner Boss?
Thank you, Chair. I just want to thank the applicants. I think it was the most detailed applicant letter, which was really helpful for me. Just appreciate that, and especially the letters of support were impactful to me, knowing that the upstairs residents and the school across the street were supportive, and you'd already completed some of the training that's required. So just thank you, and I can make the findings and supportive of the variation as well.
Okay, Commissioner DeLucio.
Yeah, I can make the findings also. I want to thank the applicant for completing the information was very thorough and complete, and sounds like it was a learning process for you guys as well, and I think you did well. I think what's before us, actually, what we're approving is a variance because of the, a variance as part of the conditional use permit because of the distance, the 500-foot distance with the school, for example, and I know you got the letter from the school of support, and you got the letter from the residents upstairs, I guess across the street for support. And also, I think what's telling here is the police department, they issued the local letter of public convenience, stating there's low crime stats, et cetera. And I know this is just a component, a small component of your operations, the wine and the beer. So, in a necessity, it sounds like, based on, from what I'm reading and heard. So I'm supportive of this.
Okay, Vice Chair Wargo.
Thank you, Chair. I am in full support of this women-owned and locally owned business. So thank you all for your work and your comments on this. I think this will be a great addition to this direct neighborhood. I can definitely make the findings. I think that the use is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood, and will add value in creating a desirable use, providing goods and home goods for people that it's very convenient in a nice and welcoming environment. I'm also supportive of the variance and really appreciate the work that you guys did to go out and earn the trust and support of your neighbors. I think that's really important, so thank you for doing that, and thank you.
Commissioner Barnwell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, it's hard to not be in support of that cute little store. I got to tell you, that's a nice little spot. So indeed, I will be an enthusiastic supporter of the requirements of the Planning Commission to give you approval to go ahead. I wanted to ask staff, what if they wanted to change their hours? Can they change their hours, or do we need to add that here? Or?
Through the chair, I think you should maybe point that to the applicant if they do want any sort of flexibility on hours. That again is up to the commission's discretion. Right now, they're not proposing to change the hours of operation. So,
Well, I don't know how the commissioners feel, but 7 o'clock on a bright, sunny summer day is practically noontime, and so if they wanted to do it, I would be in support of that. That's a completely their decision. But
yeah, I think that there's also, through the chair, Commissioner, we do condition amendments, and we also do substantial conformance determinations if there really isn't a significant change. So, if it was an additional half hour, I don't know that that's going to be a incremental change. Yeah.
But if we did it here, then they would even have to do that. Okay. Well, I would toss that out to my fellow commissioners to see if they felt it was okay to maybe extend the hours at, I don't know, 9 or 10 or something like that.
I'm supportive of that so that they have the flexibility if they choose to be open later.
Can they go through aren't they going to submit the hours to the ABC anyway?
Yes.
So I'd rather just leave it at that and not put it into the conditional use permit.
Commissioner Barnwell?
Well, the staff just told us that if they did want to extend the hours, they need to come through a city amendment process. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Regardless of the ABC?
Through the chair, Commissioner Barnwell. So as outlined in the conditions of approval, under the general conditions, it says that if there's changes to operation or expansion to the type of alcohol sales within the business, they do need to come to the city to at least ask if they need to come back for a condition amendment or a substantial conformance determination, and we would be communicating with ABC on that as well. So
What are the
there is
hours
that.
again? That would be helpful to know.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so while you're looking that up, well, first off, why don't we ask the applicant, since we're having this little conversation, would you please come forward and tell us your input on this?
We're currently at 10 to 6 during the week and then 9 to 5 on the weekend. We would greatly appreciate flexibility in hours. I don't anticipate ever wanting to be open past 8 PM, but it would be nice to have the option, even on like a one-off scenario. The flexibility would be very appreciated.
Okay, thank you. Megan, you had something to add?
Yes. Chair Balke, hearing that from the applicant, I would recommend that as far as the city permit is concerned, their conditional use permit, we build flexibility into that because it's only one half of their entitlements. They'll also have to go to ABC, so that would just remove the need to address it with the city. And then if they need to change their allowance through ABC, that would just be a separate process. But you could build in that flexibility into the conditional use permit side.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's start with the rest of the deliberations, and then we can go loop back to the question. Commissioner Wiscombe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I agree in putting flexibility in the hours. I'm wondering if Ms. Arciniega can come up with some language for where that goes and what. We don't really have anything about operational hours in there now. It's in the ABC, the letters that, the applicant letter that's going to go to ABC. So, you know, so I guess we need some help there. But I also just want to say I'm pretty excited about having a small business owned by women, and congratulate you on enduring the process to get to this point. I think it's, and I think you've done a great job with the applicant letter. I think Ms. Plummer's done a great job with the staff report and made our job quite easy up here. So I just wanted to say thank you for that. And then I guess just some language for flexibility, maybe just something very simple, hours of operation, the hours of operation as stated in the applicant's letter maybe change without amending the conditions of approval. Maybe that would do it.
Commissioner Wiscombe through the chair, and Tava, I'm sorry, Ms. Hofstringer, would it be acceptable to add a more specific condition into the conditions of approval that references hours of operation and stating the hours that are greater than beyond those identified in the applicant letter? Would that clearly trump the applicant letter statement?
Chair Balke, to the commission, because it's not necessarily stated in the project description on the planning conditions of approval, I don't necessarily know that them changing their hours would require us an amendment. It possibly could, just because a change in intensity of use. So I would suggest probably the easiest place to put something like that would be in paragraph 5, and add a section C and simply say that the hours of operation will not require a CUP amendment, and it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too. Yeah,
Okay,
that basically covers it then.
I think we have a concurrence among the commissioners as to that language, so when somebody makes a motion, let's just call it that. Vice Chair Wardlow.
Yes, I'm supportive of Ms. Ostringer's recommendation.
Okay, Commissioner DeLuccio.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, and Commissioner Barnwell.
Yes.
Okay, so I think everybody's, no, Commissioner Lodge, we have not heard from you as to this item.
I don't have anything.
Okay,
different to add. I'm also supportive of the project.
Okay, and as to my comments, I'll just say I'll ditto the vice chair's comments because I find this store very well needed. We need more of these throughout the community for each neighborhood. And I made that comment before to staff as to, trying to incorporate that kind of policy in the general plan and the zoning ordinances going forward, basically thinking about the 5-minute city or 15-minute city, depending on, whether you're walking or biking. It's definitely something we need. I also was very impressed with how well curated the store was. I mean, I'd seen many products that had come across my household that were in there that were gifts from my daughter. So very good. And the addition of alcohol will just make it even a better store for the neighborhood. So I will be supporting the motion. So can I have a motion by a commissioner? Who would like to make the motion?
I would like to make a
Commissioner
motion,
Barnwell.
including the changes that we've added to.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Barnwell, are you moving the staff recommendation?
Excuse me, yes, I am moving the staff recommendation. Thank you very much.
As modified.
Second.
Okay, you two can fight over it. Okay, so we have a motion, a first and a second, and can I have a roll call vote?
Thank you, Chair Balke. I'll take roll call vote. Commissioner DeLucia,
Yes.
Commissioner Lodge,
Yes.
Commissioner Barnwell,
Yes.
Commissioner Wiscombe,
Yes.
Commissioner Boss,
Yes.
Vice Chair Wardlow,
Yes.
Chair Balke.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. And good luck to your endeavors. Next on our agenda is the administrative agenda. We have a staff hearing officer report from Commissioner Boss, I hope.
No report.
No report, okay. Do we have any other reports from other commissioners in their liaison capacity? I see none. There you go.
Look at your screen, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Lodge.
Thank you. All 3 design review boards over the last couple of weeks have had presentations from the staff seeking their feedback on the city's approach to implementing Assembly Bill 1332, another new state law, which requires local agencies to provide a process for pre-approval of accessory dwelling units, ADU plans. So every city has to have plans that, that they're pre-approved. It's not that the city provides them, but they then go to an architect with whatever their choice is. So, and the city's goal is to pre-approve designs that would be compatible with most neighborhoods and architectural styles in the city. One of the things that they consider is that there were a number of comments from the different boards about the desirability of having the design match the existing structure. But anyway, this is something that's in process. Then I wanted to report on the, oh goodness, I didn't have it. Anyway, the Creeks Advisory Committee had a recent meeting in which they were, they didn't need to take any action on this, but these are the plans for the reconstruction of the bridge on Delavina that crosses Mission Creek at Vernon Drive. The purple dashes are the lines of the existing bridge. The black are the sort of the revetments for the extensions of it. The bridge itself is outlined in the sort of gold yellow color, and you can see how much wider it is and how much more space there will be for floodwaters to go through when we have one of our really stormy storms. This is one of the buildings that Public Works had to buy because it is over in part over the creek itself. And on the other side is this building, which is almost right up to the top of the embankment of the creek. And that was also purchased. And some of the funding for that came from the creek's money that comes from the bed tax. I think it's the next one, yes, here we are, the fund transfer. And the parcel outlined in red is where the building is almost right up to the embankment. And it's a 0.37 acre parcel. And it's area outside compensatory mitigation, 0.19 acres, or 51% of the parcel size. Anyway, that's the part that Creeks is acquiring for restoration, and that whole area will be restored and planted with creek side plantings. And this is the end result looking upstream. So I think it's going to be a great improvement for the creek and just for the area. And those are my reports.
Okay, thank you. Any other, Commissioner Wilson?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a brief announcement. There's, I'm doing this from memory. There is a Franceschi Park, Franceschi House meeting coming up on, I believe it's on May 11th, Saturday, May 11th, and it is with regard to seeing 4 options for the site of what is now the Franceschi House. They had a tremendous amount of feedback from the public. I was pretty astounded at how much feedback they've gotten. So they've taken that feedback and they've developed 4 different options to look at for the site of the Franceschi House to honor it when it will be eventually demolished. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, so Commissioner Lodge.
In connection with that, on May 11th also will become the opportunity for people online to see what the 4 different options that have been developed are and to give their input again on that. So it's another opportunity for people to have a share in the process.
Good to hear. Okay, so with that, I'd like to adjourn the meeting at 1:51 p.m. And that concludes the May 2nd, 2024 Planning Commission hearing. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for May 16th. And have a good day.